Fairly Oddparents is one of Nickelodeon's most successful cartoons. The original cartoon started in 2001 and ran for 10 seasons with 172 episodes. This show follows Timmy Turner, who's just a normal 10-year-old boy who lives in the town of Dinsdale. For years his parents have been neglecting him, and the final nail in the coffin of his misery was his parents hiring the most cruel babysitter ever, Vicky. Vicky torments Timmy so badly that the universe sends him Cosmo and Wanda to try and improve Timmy's horrible life. Cosmo and Wanda are fairy godparents, which are magical beings that have tasked themselves with taking care of miserable Earth children. Not all fairies are fairy godparents, a lot of them just live regular lives in their place of origin called Fairy World. If a fairy wants to become a fairy godparent, they need to go to Fairy Academy. The fairy godparents are led by Jorgen von Strangle, who trains the fairies to be godparents, and once they get assigned to a kid, he ensures that they do not break the rules, which is a large rulebook of all the rules written by the Fairy Council to keep the wishes god kids can make in line, so they cannot cause mass destruction and mayhem. Timmy Turner is the main god kid we follow in the show, but there are others. Timmy is known for pushing the rules to their limit, sometimes for the better, like when he wanted Cosmo and Wanda to have a kid, which Cosmo and Wanda thought was against the rules, but it turns out Jorgen forgot to add it to the rulebook, so Timmy just wishes for it. Any other god kid probably would have just given up, and Cosmo and Wanda said no, but Timmy always gets what he wants, which led to the first fairy baby to be born in over 1,000 years. But sometimes Timmy's out there wishes are bad, like when he wished for everyone to stop aging so he could keep Cosmo and Wanda for longer, and no one noticed for 50 years. The first episode of Fairy Godparents is called The Big Problem, which came out in 2001 on March 30th. In that episode, Timmy wishes to be older so he doesn't have to deal with kid issues. This show ran all the way until 2017, where it still included Cosmo and Wanda and Timmy, but a lot of people did not like some of the new additions, such as Chloe, who became a kid Timmy shared his godparents with, or Sparky, who was a fairy dog, and they just didn't like him. However, Fairy Godparents is not the first ever appearance of Timmy, Cosmo and Wanda. They all first appeared in Oh Yeah cartoons. Oh Yeah Cartoons was an anthology of cartoon shorts that showed cartoons like Chalk Zone, Jelly's Day, Cat and Milkman, Ollie and Frank, and obviously Fairly Odd Parents.
Why don't y'all stick around because, oh yeah, we'll be right back. Out.
Nickelodeon was not the only network to do an anthology series of cartoon shorts. A similar show on Cartoon Network called What a Cartoon, which gave us shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken, and the Powerpuff Girls. There were also Shorty McShorts, which were also animated series but made by Disney, that resulted in shows like Fish Hook. Going back to Oh Yeah Cartoons, it first aired the first Fairly Odd Parents short in 1998, 3 years before the Fairly Odd series first aired. Overall, there were 10 shorts made for Oh Yeah Cartoons, and I just wanted to talk about some of them to see how different they are to what eventually became Fairly Odd Parents TV show. The first episode was just called The Fairly Odd Parents. The episode starts with Timmy's parents introducing him to his new babysitter, and she seems lovely. As soon as his parents leave, she has a complete personality shift, forcing Timmy to do chores using blackmail.
Well, you wouldn't want her to find this magazine, would ya? That's not mine!
And then sending Timmy to his bed hungry after eating all the food. As Timmy is wallowing in sadness, he throws his magic 8-ball across the room and it cracks, and these two appear. They introduce themselves.
And we're your fairy godparents!
And then Timmy tries to call the police, which is understandable. 2 random people just appeared in his room, but they explain that is against the rules. Vicky comes back into the room and spots Cosmo and Wanda in their fish form, and then threatens to flush them down the toilet for no reason. Timmy asks many questions about wishes, and Wanda says she loves god kids with creative wishes, which I do believe directly resulted in all the loopholes that Timmy finds later on in the series. Timmy's first ever wish is to turn Vicky's bath into a jelly dessert. Then he makes a wish from the theme song to turn her into a chocolate shake, but Cosmo mishears.
He said chocolate shake, not chocolate snake.
Timmy gets revenge and repeatedly wishing for a different thing to terrorize her. Then Vicky wakes up thinking the whole thing was just a nightmare. At the end, Timmy asks for Vicky to be his babysitter again, and Cosmo and Wanda conclude that they will be there for a while, which is true regardless of which ending. Cosmo and Wanda stay with him until he's at least 18 in every timeline. Do Timmy's parents never question where the 10-year-old got 2 goldfish from? They seem to pay more attention to him in the shorts. Next we have the episode Too Many Timmys. Timmy's parents leave, go to a plunger festival, and Vicky's babysitting again, but fakes an injury and Timmy is forced to take care of her.
Hurt my back yesterday, rescuing that group of school kids from that burning bus.
Then he wishes for more of him to carry the burden. Vicky very quickly realizes there's something up with Timmy as he is everywhere she turns. So Timmy tries to wish all his clones away, but the rules say they all have to be in the same room. So the original Timmy has to gather them all up. When Vicky sees a quartet of Timmys singing to her, she thinks she has gone crazy and runs away. Then Cosmo and Wanda round up the rest. And now Vicky is traumatized. Good, she deserves it for all she does in the future. Then we have Where's the Wand? Vicky is going to costume party as a fairy princess, and as she is leaving, Timmy is still fighting with Cosmo and Wanda, but Wanda's wand flies out the window into a box of costume supplies given to her by the Turners. Apparently there is a rule in the rulebook called Finders Keepers law, meaning whoever holds the wand has complete control over it, so Timmy can't just wish for it to be back to him. Vicky starts accidentally granting wishes, and Cosmo tries to woo Vicky to get the wand back, but Wanda intervenes.
What's your problem, Stain?
Hey, you wacky adolescents, it's almost contest time!
Whilst Vicky is running back to compete in the costume contest after her dress was ruined and she had to change, Cosmo and Wanda are dancing. Cosmo spins into Vicky, causing her to drop a wand, and they get the wand back. The main reason I wanted to mention this one is because they mention it again. Timmy starts interacting with the book characters, the Finder Keeper rule, and I found it interesting that it started as early as in the shorts. Up next, there was the episode Party of Three. Timmy managed to convince his parents he no longer needed a babysitter and he can stay home, and Vicky finds this out and becomes determined to get her job back by ruining Timmy's evening alone so that he looks irresponsible. Timmy starts making up the wishes, and Vicky sees a conga line of people and calls his parent to bust him. Oh, sorry, wrong show. To stop him. Everything is back to normal by the time they get there. Timmy starts riding monster cars and roller coasters in the living room, and Vicky takes a picture, but Cosmo and Wanda change the picture and Vicky looks crazy again. They're just about to permanently fire Vicky, but then they notice Timmy has something in his teeth and he cannot be alone if he's not brushing properly. Then Vicky offers to help him brushing. I don't know how this was not a red flag for them. I'm going to skip to the final episode now. If you want to watch the rest of the shorts, they will be linked below. Lastly, we have the episode The Really Bad Day, which starts with Cosmo and Wanda waking Timmy up just before midnight and telling him that in the rules, every 3,000 years, god fairies turn bad, and this time it's Cosmo's turn. And Wanda reveals last time it was her turn and she wiped out the dinosaurs. This does make me question if the anti-fairies turn good for a day as an opposite. Now Cosmo is evil, as you can tell by his new beard. Cosmo is not very good at being evil, and that is a problem because if a godparent is not evil enough on their evil day, they must return to very well for 500 years training. Who makes these stupid rules? Some of them are valid, like you can't kill, you can't wish for money, but this seems stupid. Anyway, here's Genghis Khan teaching Cosmo how to be bad, and then he becomes bad. Apparently Genghis Khan has a babysitter, and that babysitter is Vicky's ancestor and threatens him to go to bed or he will be punished. They then call the normal Vicky for a bad idea, so Cosmo makes sure he meets his evil quota, and she suggests blowing up the earth. So Cosmo does that, but then the timer runs out and he stops and he is no longer evil. Lucky for the earth, that was the last episode of Fairly Oddparents that appeared in the Oh Yeah shorts, which aired on June 9th, 2002. There are many differences between the Oh Yeah cartoons and what eventually became the Fairly Oddparents series. One of the main differences between the shorts and the original is Cosmo and Wanda's intelligence. Cosmo is smarter than he is in the show, whilst Wanda is more silly. Wanda does stupid stuff too, like put 2 eye patches on and then be confused why she cannot see. But overall, it's obvious
I can't see!
You only need one, Snooky!
Wanda is meant to be the more intelligent and responsible one, but it's far more equal than it is. There are a lot of characters that appear in both the short and the TV shows, other than Timmy and his godparent. First, Vicky, who appears in most of the shorts. Her personality does not change much from the shorts to the show. She is just as big of a menace in the shorts. We see her torturing kids all throughout the series, and she is mentioned to have a brother in the first episode who we do not see, but we can hear him screaming, and he does not appear in the main series. Next is Timmy's parents. We do not see their faces, just their legs, arms, and hair. They actually appear to care for Timmy more. They just don't spend enough personal time with him in the short, but they do try by offering to take him to the Toilet Plunger Festival and watching movies with him, and they rush home when they think something was wrong with Timmy, whereas in the show,
You better come home right away. I think there's a problem with Timmy. He's... speeding.
they could not care less about his boy's existence most of the time. He's just there. Next from the main series, we have Tootie. Her and Vicky actually get along in the shorts, and we even see Vicky being a protective older sibling when Timmy startles Tootie with his toilet head. In the series, she torments Tootie like she does all the other kids. Another character that appears in both the shorts and in the series is Jorgen von Strangle, who is the leader of the Fairies Academy and enforcer of the rules. In the shorts, we see Jorgen with a god kid for the first time, named Winston. He is terrified of him, which tracks to the episode Temporary Fairy, where we find out Jorgen rarely keeps his god kids for long because he is too extreme. So extreme, in fact, he has had lawsuits. Santa briefly appears and drags an elf back to his workshop and seems to be holding him hostage and brainwashing the others, not in the Christmas spirit in my personal opinion. The Tooth Fairy also briefly appears to collect Timmy's big tooth, and I'm pretty sure she does that in the main series too. How many front teeth does this kid have? She is revealed to be in a relationship with Jorgen von Strangle, who she is also dating later in the series, and then they marry at some point. We see the Crimson Chin, who does not do much other than fight villains. Timmy does not go to school in these shorts, so we do not see Crocker, AJ, Chester or Trixie or any of the school-based characters. Timmy rarely leaves his house in the shorts other than going to 2EM Vicky's house, Vicky's school party and to go camping. Fairly OddParents universe also has other shows. It had a spin-off series called Fairly OddParents Fairly Odder, which was a comedy sitcom spin-off that combined live action and animation. After Timmy leaves to go to university, Cosmo and Wanda are left with Timmy's cousins, Viv Turner and her new stepbrother Roy. Other than Timmy, 2 other characters from the original show appear in Fairly Odder. Our favourite evil babysitter, Vicky, and Timmy's most insane teacher, Denzel Crocker, who is played by the person who voices him in the series, and he also voices Wanda Simo. The show was not successful and only lasted 1 season, with 13 episodes, starting in March 2022 and ending in January 2023. It did somehow win a Kids' Choice Award. I also want to mention Vicky had a crush on Crocker.
One step closer to finding fairies, my darling Crocker.
The original inspiration for this entire video was the new Fairly OddParents revival called Fairly OddParents New Wish, which started this year, which stars a new god kid called Hazel. She moves to a new city called Dimmodelphia for her dad's new job. She knows no one there and as a result starts to talk to rocks for companionship.
That wasn't the deal. Too late, you doink. You've been outsmarted. Now start granting.
She feels all alone in the world because her big brother Anthony, who she was really close to, has gone to university, and all that loneliness and isolation leads to her getting Cosmo and Wanda as her fairy godparents. Cosmo and Wanda have upgraded from living in a fishbowl. I mean, technically they had a TARDIS-like castle, but ignore that. They now live next door to Hazel's apartment. They were meant to be retiring, but oh well. In this series, we also see Perry.
Hey kid, I'm Pooh. Well, at least I was. I changed my name to Perry, like Periwinkle.
Who's all grown up now and is godparent of Dev Dimmadome, the grandson of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, and son of Dale Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Global Dome. You might recognise him as the guy Timmy helped reunite with his father after he escaped Vicky's lemonade sweatshop in the episode Nectars of the Odds. Anyway, back to Dev. Since Dale is such a neglectful father, he gets Perry. Dev has some issues. I like him way more than the last rich kid with fairies, Remy Bucks Aplenty. Dev has far more layers to him. I hope he has a redemption arc. Perry and Dale are not the only characters from the old show to turn up. As of making this video, AJ, Crocker, Father Time, Jorgen Von Strangle, the Tooth Fairy, Mother Nature, Irep, and Cupid have all made appearances. Vicky shows up in the episode Operation Birthday Takeback. Vicky is hired as a birthday princess for Dev's birthday. Dale Dimmadome cares so little for his son. He hired the woman who kidnapped him and locked him in an underground cellar and forced him to make lemonade 20 years ago. This shows how bad of a father he is. I did notice that Vicky is wearing the exact same dress she wore for the costume party in the short Where's the Wand. Vicky does not change in 20 years, so Hazel and Dev have to work together to free all the kids at the party of Vicky's tyranny. I do like how they mentioned the Icky Vicky song in her episode.
Hey, Vicky, you're so icky. Never heard of it. No.
There are new characters too, such as Nick of Time, Music Fairy, Psy, just to name a few. And in case you cannot tell by this section and how long it is compared to the other one, I am enjoying the revival. I'd like to give an honourable mention to the Fairly Odd movie trilogy, which did end with Timmy dying in a volcano and being reborn as a fairy. I'm not kidding. I hope you all enjoyed. Tell me some of your favourite Fairly OddParents memories. Goodbye.
I don't know what these children have told you, but I can assure you they're lies.